Kristan T. Harris here at the Rundown Live, rundownlive.com, coming to you live from the courthouse where the defense just tried to get charges acquitted by the judge in the trial. It was pretty interesting. It was a last-minute ditch effort. The defense made its case and then the prosecution made its case, and they decided to deny the defense's motion to acquit the charges against Ghislaine Maxwell, claiming that there was not enough proof of child trafficking. That happened like right at the end while everyone after everyone left. Was pretty interesting, pretty wild. That being said, we're here right now. Wild trial. Annie Farmer testified today. That was also interesting. She was a witness and victim of abuse by none other than Jeffrey Epstein. It was she was probably the most credible testimony since she was a psychologist, which was very interesting, very well spoken, and they brought a memory expert up to challenge that. She had to remind herself or find out things and use Google to remind her of like when movies were and how did you know it came out. Well, it came out at that time because I Googled it on IMDb to know that's when I traveled or when I went to the movies with Epstein. Anyways, Annie Farmer claims that she had her legs awkwardly massaged in a theater while Epstein sat between her and her sister Maria, who worked for Epstein. And then later on, she also had Epstein come and nakedly cuddle her in the bed once, and she left and locked herself in the bedroom. Very traumatic stuff here today. Very interesting to see the defense try to move for an acquittal of all charges. Found that very interesting at the end. We're here. There's some media here if you guys want to see. Hold on, let's see. We got a couple cameras, and we got a lot of journalists, photojournalists, local papers. What's going on, Lisa? How you doing, Natalie? How you doing, Brock? If you guys want to support me while I'm out here, you guys can donate. I dropped the link in the chat. Other stuff that's interesting about today, less and less media. It seems like every day and more locals are showing up at the trial. We have some interesting takeaways here. We can ask some people. Let's ask some people here. So what was your takeaway from the trial?
Well, I mean, you know, I missed this last part where, you know, you guys were in there when they tried to get it acquitted.
Yes.
Thank God the judge didn't go for that, because it's ridiculous that there's not enough evidence. Of course, I mean, Annie Farmer's testimony was absolutely accurate. And of course, the defense tries to trip people up with memory and all of this stuff. And, but, you know, like when she testified, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell rubbed her breasts and all of this stuff. I mean, and she felt uncomfortable and fearful and violated when Jeffrey Epstein tried to cuddle with her and rub himself up on her back in her bed, and she got up to go to the bathroom and locked herself in. I mean, this is all legitimate. It's all just legitimate feelings of having your boundaries violated. It's just that simple. So there's absolutely enough evidence for this to continue and for Ghislaine Maxwell to do maximum time.
Yep, and there we got Isabel Maxwell. Any statements, Ms. Maxwell?
No statements today.
All right. Let's see. Hang in here. Hang in there, guys. Do you have any statements for us today? No statements, huh? All right.
What don't you think about what was said?
How do you feel? I can't understand anything. You come out here and stand out here knowing we're going to come around you. Why don't you have your driver pick you up immediately? Can you give us a statement, ma'am?
How does it feel when people say your sister can eat shit? That's all right.
If you guys don't know, we got Isabel Maxwell in front of us. She came out yesterday asking for better jail conditions for Ghislaine Maxwell. And tonight, I guess she's just waiting to be picked up. And we got a bunch of media here just taking photographs. And if you guys missed it, the defense went and pushed towards acquittal of charges. The judge shot it down, and they're moving to defense starting next week Thursday for those who are watching in the live stream. And we're sitting in front of the courthouse right here right now. So
Isabel, can you comment on how Ghislaine is doing in jail?
and she's offering no comments right now.
Do you want to say anything?
Would you like to tell us why you don't want to say anything?
Have her conditions improved behind bars?
Can you tell us about the conditions?
Do you get to talk to her at all on the phone or no comment?
So she's not allowed to say or talk about anything with the media currently, it seems like, or is choosing not to. But Isabel Maxwell here waiting for a ride. For those of you who don't know who this is, her and Kevin Maxwell were out here the other day asking for better. I mean, there's definitely need for prison reform, but
For everybody.
for everybody, yeah.
Isabel, why do you think the press is so fascinated with this case?
She's running to go across the street. And Isabel Maxwell is looking or waiting for a ride, and media's hanging out. Today we had the defense to move for acquittal of charges at the end of the trial today. And little surprised by that, but at the same time they said that there's no absolute proof of trafficking in court. What did you see today?
Oh, it was like I said, Annie seems to have been the most competent and how do I say confident of the witnesses out. Obviously, once again, she doesn't have any substance addiction or physical abuse problems like some of the other witnesses. You know, she has a degree from actually she went to Ivy League school, right? Didn't she go to she graduated from the same school as Mr. Trump, right? The University of Pennsylvania, actually, right? And she has her PhD in educational psychology. She seemed to the one thing that was slightly peculiar was, even though when Mr. Epstein was trying to put moves on her in the movie theater, she didn't mention it to her sister, who almost seems to have recruited her to come to New York City, right? So then when Annie flew back to Arizona, when she was invited to go to New Mexico, she seemed very enthused about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the other thing is that she was worried about Maria losing her job in her college and all the benefits. So basically, she worked for Epstein. He paid for her college, And so she claimed she was nervous to speak out because she was worried how it would impact her sisters and her futures of getting, paid college and everything else working for Epstein. So,
but it seems peculiar because it almost seems like Maria recruited her sister to come to Jeffrey's mansion, and be bestowed with all kinds of gifts and promise of educational funding and stuff like that. That's kind of odd, Also, too, they did have both. They had
her boyfriend and mother.
Annie's mother took the stage.
Yeah.
And what was that? Annie's boyfriend. Actually, they were together for I think it was like 7 years, which is quite a long amount of time. From when you're 16 to when you're 23. That's kind of odd how it seemed how like her sister almost recruited her to come to meet Mr. Epstein, and then when what occurred actually did happen, that she was reluctant to tell her sister. Like you said, she was probably in danger of her sister losing her job. But her sister, I'm not sure how long she'd been working for Mr. Epstein, but she seemed pretty confident in her position. And once again, it seems odd. It's almost seeming like she, maybe perhaps Mr. Epstein told her, you have any sisters with ages today? Well, why don't you bring them here and we could all go out and go shopping, go to the movies, and go see Phantom of the Opera.
And today's the first time we heard that he was extremely manipulative and that he may have been telling multiple stories. There was claims that maybe he played people off of each other. Ghislaine maybe didn't know entire truths of everything, but she definitely was involved based on testimonies in sex acts with Epstein. So they try to play it off as, Epstein was manipulative, Ghislaine didn't know what was always going on, and that, that there wasn't any absolute evidence beyond a shadow of doubt of trafficking, and that the charges should be acquitted and dropped. And the judge denied it at the end, which was interesting.
Gotcha.
What do you guys think? What have you guys found out so far?
I found out everything from you guys, pretty much. Can I ask you, though, in the past, I don't know if it happened yesterday after the trial, but we were hearing about the suspension of the trial tracker account.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay.
We wrote about it. They published that article on the Rundown Live, rundownlive.com, as well as all the transcripts. All the transcripts can be found on the Rundown Live, rundownlive.com. No other website has the transcripts of this trial. We do. So the rundownlive.com is where you're going to find those. But what was the question again, real quick? Oh, yeah, the trial tracker. Well, it's funny because we got suspended for 2 videos we did on the trial as well on YouTube. And we had to go through a kind of an inside source, and they actually reinstated our videos. But it does look like they are attempting to silence individuals that are covering this event. And as we know, Trial Tracker was one of the largest ones. But they did move to my buddy Ben Swan's platform, Sovereign Media. Yeah, the Sovereign Media. So they are on Sovereign Media. Check it out. It's the new Facebook. Kudos to Ben Swan. He actually, the day he launched it, he was on the Rundown Live. We have a daily talk show 5 days a week. So check that out. Check out the podcast and check out sovereign.media. Ben Swan's moving towards, everyone's building their own platforms. They're all sick of the censorship. So.
Gotcha. Were you guys surprised by that at all? Or were you expecting it to happen at some point?
Well, I was a little surprised because I wouldn't think that they would help pedophiles or people being accused of this, considering that they banned anything pro Kyle Rittenhouse on social media, right? And he was proven innocent. It shows you how politicized social media has become. And it's really not about keeping you safe from information. It's about providing you the information they want you to ingest, because when we download that information and feed our brain with, let's say, GMO news, we grow GMO crops in our brain of garbage and trash. So what you eat is what you are, and that goes with what you read, what you research, the things that you decide to counteract with each other. It's good to research everything, question everything, but don't believe anything unless you prove it with your own 2 hands. And most of all, don't believe the media and just even me for just saying something. Do your own research to verify. That's how you build credibility, and that's how you become a good journalist. So.
And just to become a good moral individual, in essence, is question everything. The validity of your information, sources and stuff. It's just like a computer, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you're getting garbage information, falsehoods, obfuscation, disinformation or misinformation, obviously it's not going to be good for your overall state of mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the mental aspect of it. But you're right, I like how Ghislaine said, the physical aspect, exactly. You have to keep a clear mind and clear body, right? Like Hippocrates said, Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food.
Gotcha.
Never listen to mainstream media.
That was another thing I was wondering, because
used to.
we
Yeah.
keep hearing about how, and it seems to be true from what I'm seeing. I don't see a lot on my phone.
Yeah, every day there's less and less mainstream media. Well, we did an episode of the Rundown Live last week. It's hard to do them because I'm not here. We've been doing reruns. But it's where did all the media go? And as you know, I was at the Kyle Rittenhouse. I covered it. I was a witness in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And there was about 100 media outlets there every day, camped out, tents all over the place. They had their satellites up there. You couldn't get internet with the darn just by being out there if you tried to live stream. And here, we got just a handful, maybe a baker's dozen, and that includes photographers for newspapers that are out here. There might be a few more in the rooms, but I would say that baker's dozen is probably a healthy analogy of how many mainstream media journalists I've talked to. Well, we had Vanity Fair here. We had Slate. Slate had that controversial article supporting pedophilia. You know, they're like, the media that's here is mostly the ultra leftist media. I don't see any Fox here. I don't see any, CBS, NBC, any real conservative media really cover it. Where's Breitbart? Breitbart's not here.
Why do you think they're not here?
I don't know why they're not here. It's expensive in New York. That would be my first guess. And this is a long trial. I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be here at the end. But they don't want to advertise it. They might not want to advertise it for a couple of reasons. I think that a lot of people, a lot of the ideologies, this is where conspiracy meets conspiracy reality, and they may not want to inspire another, let's say, January 6th, so they're trying to prevent the media from covering it, because let's keep in mind a lot of people were motivated by the Save the Children movement, amongst other things. Not that there isn't children being trafficked. We just got to take a look at what's really happening versus what's posted in some, shit posting forum.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, where's RT?
yeah, where's RT?
Where's RT?
Where's Al
Where's RT
Jazeera?
here?
Where's Al Jazeera? Where's all the people that are normally here? Not even InfoWars. You think out of all the people that would be covering something that's conspiracy based, that they would be out here. But none of them are out here, So what we have is these people down here. Let's zoom in for you guys. And there's about 6 of them. There's about 6 people down there right now. And you'd think people would be broadcasting live from here every day, but they're not. I don't know the real reason why. We can speculate, but I believe a lot of it has to do with New York's expensive. It's not something that they want to promote because there's a lot of top people involved, people that are named that are highly powerful and influential, maybe even people that some of the media networks have done business with, or have people within their own networks that visited or dealt with Epstein.
That's a good point.
So are they telling journalists to shy away from
I don't think so. I think they're just not having them cover it. They're going after the Jussie Smollett case. They're going after. Is that not true? They're not going after the Durham probe, which I think would be one of the biggest cases. The only case I'd recommend that and the Julian Assange news from today.
What was the news from today?
That
They're going to extradite him.
Yeah, they're.
He might be very well. His case might be in one of these 2 courtrooms, I'm believing, right?
Really?
Where are they going to try Mr. Assange? I'm supposing in one of these courtrooms.
Just reading about that last night. That's weird, because it came up in my algorithm, Funny how that happens.
Well, supposedly he lost his bid, right? He's going to get extradited.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing. So, have you heard of the Durham probe?
I don't think so.
They've arrested 3 people involved in the Steele dossier for providing fake news. So basically the Russian collusion aspect was funded by the Clintons and was completely fake news, and they've arrested 3 individuals, including a person that provided the Steele dossier. That's the Durham probe, and no one's covering that right now because essentially it proved that 4 years of Russian collusion was fake news. They banned about 1,000 independent media channels, blacklisted them, shadow banned them. I'm one of them under the guise of Russian collusion. That was all fake news. It was all basically a Clinton ego trip to prevent this from ever happening again, where we influence the mainstream and the world into voting a certain way because we were kind of the gatekeepers, dismantling the programming and the psychological aspect of things. There was a lot of websites out there that were doing it. InfoWars was just one of them, one of the more popular ones. There was Natural News, Anti-Media, the Free Thought Project, the RundownLive.com. I know the anti-media. I could go on and on. There was just so many websites dedicated for citizen journalism and bloggers. But now that we can't make a living anymore, this is what we have left. You know, otherwise you'd probably have 500 or 600 people here covering this event. Just that nobody here can make a living. We all have to have day jobs now. And for the ones that didn't give up, we found different ways of making money, you know, and making it go by. So.
And what do you think? What's going to happen now that that has come out?
Well, I don't know. It's not getting any coverage. I think it'll just get swept under the rug, and no one will hear about it until maybe Trump runs for re-election, if he does. I'm not encouraging this or saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just thinking that would be the only thing. But look it up to Durham Probe, DURHAM PROBE. That's going on right now.
And how long do you think that? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
How long do you think the defense is going to?
They said, okay, I can tell you. They said that they plan on being done by. Possibly next week. It starts Thursday and Friday next week. The next 3 days they're off. So probably they think that they might be done by Monday.
The Monday after?
Yeah, correct.
Monday after will probably be closing arguments.
Yeah, and then Monday, Tuesday, and then they'll break for the holidays. Or the jury will decide to take a day or two to deliberate and then take off for the holidays.
So there's a chance that they might be deliberating over the holidays, then returning with a verdict?
Oh, well, no, they'll deliberate before the holidays and then after the holidays and then come to a verdict. There's no timeline. There's no timeline. The defense made the argument that coming back or deliberating before the holidays will make them rush it to try to finish it before the holidays. You know, they made that argument, but we don't know the answer yet to what's going to happen.
Okay,
so,
gotcha. And
so
you guys spoke last time about the false memories expert. Have you heard anything else?
Well, the blonde took the stage today, and she was the one.
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah, she was good. She definitely challenged Annie Farmer, and it was interesting to see how she was saying reconstructed memories. You reconstructed that memory. You didn't know when the movie was released, so you had to look it up online. Therefore, you reconstructed. Primal Fear, and you reconstructed that. You didn't actually remember that. The only reason why you remember that is because you could verify it online, and she did a lot of that with the things she said. So it was very interesting. But for our watchers, can you plug your channel?
Hard Facts. Check out Hard Facts.
Hard Facts on rundownlive.com. What's your name?
Tommy.
Tommy, thanks for interviewing me. And what's your channel, Robert?
But also one of the things I remember they mentioned at the very end that they're going to have what's called. this is an interesting title: a rebuttal expert. Right? Like, what exactly is that?
Well, I could use one of those in my relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my girlfriend's arguing with me. Hold on, I'm calling the rebuttal expert. You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a profession. I mean,
right.
Some occupational opportunities. A rebuttal expert. I wonder who that is. And now what? Now who's presenting that? Is that the defense or the prosecution?
Prosecution is going to have the rebuttal expert.
Really? Oh, intriguing. I want to see who that's going to be. And once again, I want to see their mannerisms or their kind of like tactics or techniques that they're going to use. Because the individual that they had today, that the defense had, was pretty aggressive and pretty well spoken. I remember
very articulate. She looked like 8 feet tall.
Yeah. I remember one time she even corrected the judge. Remember?
Yeah, she got into it with the judge a few times.
Yes. So what was the term she used? Oh man.
It was a big word like confabulation. It was like in that genre of really bizarre verbiage of, you know, somebody who reads a lot of books.
Yeah,
which I do. So. Oh, you're looking up the notes, huh?
I'm trying to see. I remember one time.
What do you think that the stenographer writes down when she's transcripting big words she's never heard of before?
Well, there was a lot of words today like genitalia and erect penis. Right? I mean,
well, I understand those.
Yeah. Those
Shout out to the people in the chat. I want to say what's up real quick. How you doing, Lisa? How you doing, Natalie? Brock, how are things going? John, checking it out. David, Brandy, Sky, Lindy, Sue, Laura Lee, Stacy Ann, Celia. How you guys all doing? If you guys want to support me, you guys can drop some money in the chat. We need to reach our new goal. Our new goal is $4,500. Things are like pricey here in New York, so if you guys can spare, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, please do drop it. There's a link in the chat. The coverage isn't cheap, but we're here every day bringing you information and news. We even had Isabel Maxwell on camera today, so we talked about some of the things that happened today. The defense moved for acquittal of charges against Ghislaine Maxwell. but it was shot down by the judge, and it was pretty interesting all around. How you doing? Okay, let's get your opinions here. Hold on. So, what's your opinion about what happened today in trial? You've been in there every day with, as well as I have.
Every day except for the first day.
Right. So, what's your opinion on today's court proceedings dealing with Miss Annie Farmer? Annie Farmer, sorry.
I thought she was the best of the victims, best witness of the victims, because she's a psychologist. She has her shit together. No drugs were mentioned, anything like that. But she didn't really talk about actual sexual relations with either one of them. She talked about Jeffrey Epstein, like holding her hand, like in the movie theater.
Being affectionate.
Being affectionate. It went as far as like holding her hand, putting his arm around her, and that's as far as it got. But then Ghislaine Maxwell did massage her, taught her how to give foot massages to Jeffrey Epstein, and then massaged her and had her turn on her back and
groped her, she said.
Well, first she said she just touched the upper part of her breast, and then later it became she groped her breast. In earlier testimony or something, it was groping, so there was a little bit of argument as to
definitions,
your breast, or was she just touching the, what did she say, the lats, the muscles up there? So they were like playing it down that it wasn't.
Well, she had the bedroom scene with Epstein too, where he was nude and rubbing or holding her closely.
Oh.
Is that what they said?
I think it was after that.
Yeah.
And he came in
the bedroom.
She went to her bedroom, and he came in the bedroom and snuggled next to her.
And then she got so scared she locked herself in the bedroom or bathroom.
She said, I have to find an excuse to get her out of this bed. And she said she had to go to the bathroom, and she locked herself in the bathroom. And I don't know what happened.
Well, I'm sure at some point Epstein felt it was a wrong idea since her sister worked for him, and that's maybe why he backed off. And she felt a little weird about it because she didn't want, her sister got free college, and this was her boss, and so she felt like she couldn't say anything. So that was kind of her testimony. Is pretty.
Right.
Were you in the courtroom?
No.
No. But when you say, who were you just talking about just now?
That we were talking about Annie Farmer. Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, just now. The last sentence you said. The last thing you said.
We were talking about Jeffrey Epstein and her in the bed.
It was just the last thing. I didn't know who you were talking about. I wasn't sure what you were.
Yeah, we were talking about.
Very loud.
Who you were talking about. I wasn't.
Yeah, we were talking about Annie Farmer locking herself in the bathroom because
so
Epstein tried to cuddle with her nude, I believe, and he was kind of grinding up on her.
And everything is just like, everything to me just sounds like spiders.
Spiders?
Yeah. It really feels like spiders.
What do you mean?
Like, the words you're using, so many of the way that women felt, like, it just feels like...
Spiders
the way
on you?
you even said, like, you were saying some verbs before of, like, you know, touching, and or, like, you know, being... Like, just very, you know...
It's a very common practice in the grooming process. It starts off with watching movies and, entertainment and paintings. And, like they said, Epstein had nude pictures all over the wall. And then it's the back massages, getting the girls used to touching them. And then before you know it, it goes to hammer and oil well Willie down there. And that's what we found out, this whole trial is that there's a lot of the same grooming process of all work.
Definitely if
Maxwell.
you have a woman there.
It's easier.
Of course. There is no way that if a man wanted me to go do something, okay, that I would be like, let me just go.
We're talking a billionaire, though. He'll pay for your college.
I'm just saying, in a nutshell, if the woman's right there, though, and she's just like, just come along, all good, you definitely drops, that line kind of chips away a little bit.
That was her role.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So
I know that.
He needed her for collaboration. So if the girls ever said anything, she could say, "Oh no, he just got a back massage. I was in the room," and she was always in the room. It seemed in a lot of these cases of actual, sexual abuse and assault and even penetration by Jeffrey Epstein and orgies with the girls. So it was crazy. Some of these girls are as young as 14. And we'll see what happens here, guys. If you guys want to support the Rundown Live, I need you guys to give me thumbs up. I need you guys to share. I need you guys to comment. I need you guys to help us out by checking out those links and donating. Oh, by the way, I dropped the Carolyn transcripts. Carolyn transcripts are live on the Rundown Live, straight from this courthouse. Right there, where the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is happening. People have these weird, dumb conspiracies out there. They said Ghislaine Maxwell is not in the courtroom. Is Ghislaine Maxwell in the courtroom?
Of course she is.
Why are people saying Ghislaine Maxwell is not in the courtroom? You guys are weird.
I'll show you a drawing of her.
Oh yeah, they said that all they get is drawings. Did you draw a picture of her? Oh, awesome. I gotta check out your art.
I cannot wait to see this.
This sounds awesome.
There she is.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, is that that's the Grim Reaper. That's Ghislaine Maxwell right there, the Grim Reaper. That is. This one looks like kind of like a Sasquatch, Ghislaine Maxwell. We have Bigfoot, Ghislaine.
I want to say something right now, okay?
Hold on, let me switch this on you.
I want to say something.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I want to just repeat this again, and I think it's very important that this side is really known, that if every guy, will be like that. They will have these needs, and they'll practice on them, and they're devilish, you know, and they're the worst.
They're horn
Lots
dogs.
of them are the worst.
Horn dogs.
Okay, but when
The horn dogs are on both sides.
Please.
Yeah.
But when I think about us as women, we're on the same fucking team. That's our fucking team, and that's why I think that she is beyond the devil right there, because men will do those things and they have those urges. That wasn't because she had a fucking urge. She didn't want to fucking
Right.
This is
That's
just
true.
wanting to do something just because. I don't even know the reasons.
There's psychological reasons.
Yes.
Power.
Obviously,
Power.
everything is
She
psychological.
lost all her power. It gave her her power back.
Yeah.
Being with him.
You know, but you know what? But that's the thing. Men will do things for power. They do things for women. That's why women should rule the world. We don't. She's the reason that we're not going forward.
I just think that there's
She's
bad
the reason
people.
we're not going forward.
Yeah.
No, isn't that? In a nutshell, she's the reason why we're not going forward.
Well, I don't know.
That's against women.
I
We want women to rule the world, and all of a sudden, someone like that is going against us.
She steps it back.
Who else does that?
I don't believe
Who's
that I
the
want a
most
ruler of
evil
anyone.
woman
I don't want anyone to rule me.
Who's the most evil woman you've ever known?
My ex-girlfriend, she is a sociopath, psychologically abusive, slept with many people while lying, and then was sociopathic about it. And whenever I jumped in another relationship, she was back.
So let me ask you this. Back it up. What about someone in,
The world,
culture and
like
history?
let's say Hillary Clinton.
That's your evil?
Yeah. Well, she has got a body count. She's got a huge body. I interviewed her bodyguard for 21 years.
You just don't like her.
No,
You
you didn't even ask me if I like her or not. He's bad. Yeah.
You're equating.
Well, you can't equate Donald Trump to Hitler.
What is the worst human woman ever? Is there an evil woman in history that you can even think of?
Mean women. Evil women.
Mean, not evil.
You're talking like somebody runs an empire and tried to destroy everything, or
Like
you know.
ordering people killed and stuff like that.
She did some bad things in Egypt. She did. She sucked the blood out of a lot of little girls.
Cleopatra?
Well, I would say Semiramis and
A bunch of them. In
Semiramis
Egypt.
would be an example. She installed human sacrifice in Babylon. She would be probably, and she's the reason why we have the moon goddess, the lady on the moon, and her husband was Nimrod, the first king to wear a crown, which represents the suns. That's why a crown is gold, and the king is supposed to illuminate those around him. But she worked with him, and it was called the mystery religion or mystery Babylon. That's why in reggae songs they talk about the mystery Babylon. It was the bad religion that installed cannibalism and child sacrifice, and it was her idea in conception. So there are evil people, and she's one of the most evil and influential. That's where we get the term Monday. Monday is Moon Day for worshiping the moon goddess Semiramis, and even on the Miller beer, we have the Lady on the Moon. That's Semiramis. Even the Statue on Liberty, if you look it up, represents Semiramis, and that's the Whore of Babylon greeting people in the United States. So that's just interesting. Little ancient history for you.
Damn.
But I think people in general, when they're given power, are bad. That's why I think we don't need a leader. Why we have all these people in the United States? Why is it that we think we need one person to represent us all? That's just dumb, in my opinion. But I'm not saying people can believe whatever they want. But I don't care if you're a boy or girl. I think gender doesn't matter. I think people who are in bad situations or brought up in a culture of tyranny kind of become tribal to that tyranny and a slave to that tyranny, and they want to strive for power. And it even happens in the workplace. You can see it, you know.
I don't think we've stretched for this thought process. I haven't stretched there.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's a good conversation. But just
like, I think I'm in for this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm like, you know.
Just get warmed up.
Get ready for like America.
We were talking about Babylon and Semiramis.
We live in Babylon. This is Babylon.
Well, that's why I said Statue of Liberty, all that stuff. Yeah.
Statue of Liberty is a Lucifer.
Well, it's Babylonian. That Luciferianism is mystery religion.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to say you go skating around like Rockefeller Center, Prometheus is a Lucifer. It's a light bearer.
Yeah.
Light bearer.
Well, right.
You know what I'm saying? That Lucifer is a title.
You got to flex your brain. Sometimes you got to feed your brain an interesting information.
It's not an entity or a person. It's a title.
Demonic and evil.
Well, yeah. Right here you have an obelisk. The obelisk in the park represents the phallic of Osiris. Osiris is another name for Nimrod. And so when the moon shines on the phallic, it's a mating ritual of the penis and the male and the female. It's astrotheology, and it's a very Masonic thing. And they have it right there, and they even have it so on the solstice they have it on the ground where it shows where the sun will be or the moon will be.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a mini
I'll show. Yeah, it is essentially.
But Martin said when the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie.
That is perfect. There's something deeper there. He's probably quoting some Romans from 2,000 years ago.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was good chatting with you. Thank you very much.
Well, let's go get some food.
What was her name?
CJ. I don't know where she's going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doing her
She's being a kid.
Like you said.
Keep it clear.
What's that? Slalom, right?
Oh, it's a slalom.
All right, guys. Kristan T. Harris here at the Rundown Live. We're sitting here in New York City, in front of the courthouse where Ghislaine Maxwell's defense just tried to have her charges acquitted. It was denied by the judge. If you guys want to support me, send me your thumbs up, share this video, go to therundownlive.com. Get the transcripts, Carolyn transcripts, Katie transcripts, Jane Doe transcripts, Butler transcripts are all on the Rundown Live. That's right, guys. One more time, you go to therundownlive.com. All the transcripts are there. The Jane Doe transcripts, the Katie transcripts, the Carolyn transcripts, the Butler transcripts, verbatim from the stenographer. If you guys want the most genuine form of what's going on here, go to therundownlive.com. Drop us a $5 donation. We're out here bringing the news. You guys get to join along with me covering this daily. That being said, guys, we'll see you guys soon. I'm heading back to Wisconsin for a couple days to be part of the Kyle Rittenhouse documentary. I was a witness and I journaled the whole Kenosha unrest. So if you guys want to support me, it's expensive endeavor being here in New York. So we're trying to reach our new goal of 4,500. Top donor has been $250, but $5, $10. Buy me a coffee, send me an Uber. I appreciate you guys. Much love, and it's you guys who made this happen at KGRA station there. 100% listener funded. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.